What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Kozmo back with a deck profile, and today I'm showing you guys finally my 2.0 Witchcrafter deck. Yes, this is my Witchcrafter. I love this deck. I don't care what people say. I know it's not a defining meta deck, but it's a really fun deck to play. And once you start getting the combos going, it's a force to be reckoned with. This deck do lose the hand traps, but we do have ways to kind of stop that from happening. I like to apologize for not being around. I've been helping up my girlfriend move to a new apartment, and my daughter starting school. So you know how getting school clothes for for your kids are, and work has been a pain in the ass. So but I haven't forgot about my decks. So without further ado, let me just show you guys what I'm running in my Witchcrafter deck that I love to play so much. So, first off, I run 3 copies of the new card that just came out, Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. She is so beautiful. She got long legs. She's sexy. Yeah, that's what I like about my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Every time I say I'm going to stop playing a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, I'm going to stop building decks, Konami just sucked me right back in because of artwork like this. But, this is a new card that came out Rising Rampage. She's a good spellcaster card. She's a hand trap, so to speak, a recurring hand trap. And she can be used in any spellcaster deck. But in this particular deck, she shines because this is her deck. So her effect is if your spellcaster monster were to be targeted by card effect or by battle, quick effect, you can target. You get 2 options. You can target one card your opponent controls, return that to the hand, or you can target one spell card in your graveyard, a Witchcrafter spell card in your graveyard, and return that to your hand. And that's really good because if your opponent is attacking you with a big monster, you could blink it out. I mean, if it's targetable. Sometimes we have other ways to protect your monster too, but that's one way to blink out one of your opponent's monsters, or you can grab a Witchcrafter spell card, because we all know the Witchcrafters have 2 effects if it hits the graveyard. If you used it, you can't get it back until your next end phase, or if you haven't used it, you can return it to the field or to your hand. So this way, you can get that card on your opponent's turn, so you don't have to wait till your end phase. And it's good food for your Madame Vier, because she makes the girls big, how many spell cards you have in your hand. So you gotta run 3 copies of her. So her other effect is during your opponent's main phase, you can bounce this back to your hand. And let's look at this card, man. She is so beautiful, man. Ain't she so good? Oh boy, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I love this. Well, I love that. Look at that. Look at the artwork, guys. But yeah, you gotta run 3 copies of her. She's really good. Yeah, 3 copies of Aruru. Next off, I run 1 copy of Manavir, and I know some deck profiles run 2, which I was thinking about running 2, but at the same time, you don't want to see this card in your hand. You rather special summon it with the lower level Witchcrafters, and she's the queen bitch. She's right up there with as Pop Jose would say, up there with the Madolche Queen Tiramisu. But is it Tiramisu? I think so. Or whatever. Whatever the Madolche Queen is. Those 2 are like sisters, we say. But with her, she's good. She's like your monster negation. So she's really good. So her first effect is you can reveal any number of spell cards in your hand with different names. It's a quick effect. And you can target one spellcaster you control. And that monster gains 1,000 for each different spell card in your hand. So if you have 3 cards in your hand, she can become 5,800. Like, really good. Or if you have 5 cards in your hand, she become really, really big. So that's another good thing. And her secondary effect is you can discard a spell card, and you can negate all your opponent's monster effects currently on the field. So you go against Thunder Dragons, you can shut them down, and that part doesn't even target. So then any card that has crazy effects that you can't deal with, she can just take care of that. And it's a quick effect. And she got a nice 28 booty, And she is so beautiful too. Look at her. She's just like, I just don't give a fuck. But yeah, I wrote one copy of her. Because you just don't want to see her, because you can bring her out really easy. Next off, I do one copy of Witchcrafter Hane. Now she's good. Now she's at the Dryden of the deck. So when she's special summon, well, not when she's special summon, but when she's out on the field, your opponent cannot target any other spellcaster monsters, with anything but her. Well, for effects and stuff, but only her. So you have to hit her before you can hit anyone else, which is really good. And then quick effect, you can discard a spell card to pop a card in the field, which is really good because you can stop your opponent's from going off with combos or whatever. The only downside is a face up. I wish it was, face down, but face up. But it's kind of, like I said, it's good to stop your opponent from going off. I only want one copy of her because, like I said, with the big girls, you can bring them out with the little Witchcrafters. And to round off for my level 5 or higher Witchcrafters, is one copy of Adele. Now she's really good because you can, so her effect is, quick effect, you can discard one spell card to special summon one Witchcrafter monster except for herself to the field. So if you have big ones in your hand, you can get them out. So that kind of says, okay, if you have her in your hand, like, how in the hell am I supposed to get her out of my hand? Because she's she's that big of a level. You can discard a spell card to special summon her to the field. So that's like that. You can have them on the field just like that. And another good thing is, if you have her on the field, you can special summon her too, and to do some crazy combos with that. But that's one good thing to get out, Witchcraft out of your hand. And then the secondary effect of her is you can tribute herself to special summon a Witchcrafter from the graveyard. So for some strange reason, if your Manaviera got Kaiju or whatever, you can tribute her to bring her back out and say, bam, motherfucker, I'm back. So just like that. So yeah, I run one copy of Adele because, like I said, you don't really want to see the bigger Witchcrafters. The only one you want to run 3 of, in my opinion, is Aruru. Now for the lower level ones, I do play 3 copies of Shmeta. Shmeta is really beautiful. Remind me of Farm Girl. But all the lower level Witchcrafters, they have this effect where during the main phase you can tribute them and discard a spell card to special summon the big one, like the other girls, like these ones. So that's the first effect. So all of them have that first effect. And then her main, she's the reason why I run her at 3 is because she can send a Witchcrafter card to the graveyard. So sometimes if you kind of help you set up for that buy street combo. But you have to banish them in order to do the secondary effect. And like I said, this deck kind of loses to hand traps. And I have had that happen to me before. Somebody with like Ash Blossom or whatever. It just sucks. But or Effect Villa hurts the most. So but you gotta run through copies of her because she's the main one to send key Witchcrafter cards to the graveyard. And then, like I said, if you send those spells to the graveyard and you haven't even used them, you can add them to your hand. So you run 3 copies of Shmeta. Next off, I run with 2 copies of Pator. I'm thinking about bumping her up to 3 because she's really good. So, like I said, the first effect is you tribute them, discard a spell card, special summon a Witchcrafter. It can be anyone, if you might need for that turn. And yeah, and then her secondary effect is you can banish her, draw a card, and discard a Witchcrafter card from your hand. So that way, if sometimes you have her in your hand and you wish you could special summon her, you have ways to put her back in the graveyard. And then, like I said, with Adele, tribute Adele, and then you can bring her out just like that. So you have combos to do it. But I kind of like her at I like her too as well, so I'm thinking about bumping her up to 3. But as of right now, 2 has been fine. And then last but not least, for my monsters and for my witchcrafters, I run 2 copies of Patir. She's okay. I don't really like her too much. I might thinking about cutting her and then putting in the third Patir. But she's good. I mean, she comes up. If you have no cards, so her secondary effect is if you have no cards in your hand, you can so you banish her, no cards in your hand, you can add a Witchcrafter card from your graveyard to your hand. So if you need to get her to your hand, if she's in your graveyard, you could, or whatever. So I mean, she's okay. I mean, I never really had that effect where I didn't have any cards in my hand because I kind of keep my hand fueled up at times. So I would just probably consider running her at 1. But, she's a body on the field, so I just like to use her first effect just to bring out another Witchcrafter monster. So that rounds off my monsters. I don't really play hand traps, or I mean, you could play hand traps, but I would side them out if I was going to a tournament. But Manavir, she does all the dirty work. So for my spells, I run 3 copies of Witchcrafter Creation. This card is like the bread and butter of the deck. It's the searcher of the deck. If you need any monsters in your hand, most of the time I like to search either for Garuru or Shmeta. Those are the 2 I like to really search for. So yeah, you can add them to your hand. And then the secondary effect is if this card is in your graveyard, but you didn't use the first effect to search, you can add it to your hand. So that's like the downside that I think Konami kind of missed out on this deck, because it would be so amazing if you did the search and at the end phase add this back to the hand. That would be really cool, but it's not, and I hate that. It's like, it's always something. But yeah, you gotta run this card at 3 because it helps searches out for key Witchcrafter monsters you might need. So 3 copies of Creation. Next off, I run 3 copies of Holiday. Holiday is like your Monster Reborn in the deck. So if you have Witchcrafters in your graveyard that you really want to get out, you can use Holiday. And like I said, the secondary effect is if you didn't use it this turn and it's in your graveyard, and you have a Witchcrafter monster, like all the spells, you have to have a Witchcrafter monster in order to return it. You can return it to the hand. And yeah, that's what I said. I don't like that effect, but it is what it is. But you gotta run 3 copies of Holiday because your Witchcrafters, you want to get them out of your graveyard to bring them back out. Next off, I run 1 copy of By Street. Now, By Street is amazing. This card helps your girls from being protected by card effects in battle, and your opponent gotta pop them twice. So if they did Dark Hole, they said, "Oh, I got you." Nah, my girls still stay alive. So that's a really good card. This is the type of card that I want to send to the graveyard with Shmeta at the end phase. It doesn't return to my hand. It returns back to the field, which is really good because all the continuous Witchcrafter spell cards have that clause. If it's in the graveyard and you didn't use it, it goes back to the field, which is amazing. So you during your end phase. So so the first effect, so the main effect is your girls cannot be destroyed by battle card effect. By the second time they got to be destroyed the second time. And then the first effect is you could use this as the discard outlet for one of your girls. So for some strange reason you don't have any spell cards in your hand and you attribute Shmeta, you can send this to the graveyard instead. Or if you have food in your hand that you really don't want to get rid of because you want to bring out Manavir or whatever, yeah, you can use this for the cost. Which is really cool because, I never had that happen to me because I always play a lot of spells. But yeah, that's By Street. Might want to bump it up to 2, but for right now, 1 has been fine. Next off, I want 1 copy of Scroll. So the Scroll is like a mini, what's the card? Hercules base for Sky Strikers. So when your girls will destroy a monster by battle, you can draw a card. So it's a little mini draw, but I really don't care too much for that. But what the good thing about this card is you can use it for food if it's on the field. And yeah, that's the only thing about this card. Next off, I do one copy of Draping. Draping is like, you can say a heavy storm, but the downside is return. So I'm going to get into the effect. So how many Witchcrafter monsters you control is that many spells and trap cards you can bounce back to your opponent's hand. So if you have 3 Witchcrafters, you can bounce up to 3 spells and traps, which is really good. It says up to. I like the keyword up to because it has like a mandatory to target 3. You gotta have 3. That's like that Tellarknight spell card, which I really like, but it has a clause where it doesn't say up to. But yeah, Draping is really good. It kind of helps me get rid of some pesky floodgates that we don't like. So one copy of Draping, and the good thing is, if you didn't use it that turn, let's say you discarded it, that you can add it back to your hand if you didn't use it. But yeah, Draping. Next off, I do one copy, a card that I've been trying out and has been working well. Is Witchcrafter Collaboration. This card is really good. It's really good. So I'm gonna read you the effect. So you can target one Witchcrafter monster you control. It can make a second attack during the battle phase this turn. If it attacks this turn, your opponent cannot activate no spells or trap cards to the end of the damage step. So that's really good. So you can push for game. Let's say if your let's say if your Aruru is like 58,000, can make a second attack. You can really do some damage with this card, and they can't activate spells or traps. So pesky trap cards like Drowning Mirror Force and all that crazy shit, they can't activate any card effects. Nothing. They can't activate anything. So that's really good. Really good. Shit, it's a big ass fly in here. But yeah. And then the secondary effect is if this card's in your graveyard, you can add it back during your end phase if you didn't use the first effect. So only one copy of Collaboration. And that's it for all my Witchcrafter cards. That's it. Now for the supporting cast, because this deck needs it. So you run 3 copies of Call by the Grave because we want to be able to get our effects off. We don't want hand traps in our way. So you have to run 3 Call by the Grave. Very important. Next off, another card that I'm trying out is the Quiet Life. This card is really good. I got this idea from one of my friends at work was telling me about it. He was like, yo, you should run this card. I'm like, I don't think so. But I tried it out, play tested with it. I like it because you really don't have to special summon on your turn because all the Witchcrafters have that effect during the main phase. So you can just sit on Shmeta and pass the turn if you really wanted to. And then you can't because once you normal, you can't special. When you special, you can't normal. So that's really good against your opponent because if your opponent normal summons, they won't be able to go off on you, which is really good. And they special summon, that's the kicker because some decks can special summon and keep special summoning, and they don't have to normal. But like I said, it's a nice little cute card that you can try out and play. But it's been working out well for me because I know a lot of people kind of bank on that normal summon, a lot of rogue decks too. So the Quiet Life, I like this card, and it's really good because, like I said, the Witchcrafters can be tribute during the main phase. So during your opponent's turn or my turn, it can be tribute. And yeah, this card is really good. It's a nice little floodgate to kind of stop some certain decks from going off. Next off, I do run 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. It's a nice little cute card to send your spell cards in the graveyard. Your Witchcraft spell cards and kind of add them back to your hand for next turn. Few for Madam, but yeah. Next off, I'm running 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. I did have Titty Twister in this deck, but I don't want to lose my food, my spell cards. I want to keep them. So I just think that Cyclone's probably the best option. I do have Titty Twister in my side deck, but in my main, I kind of like Cyclone. Cyclone's really good. Next off, I run Dark Hole, Double Dark Hole. Came off the ban list. Yeah. It's good because when you have Buy Street out and you want to like kind of destroy the opponent's board, you could you know because Buy Street protects your cards from card effects. So Double Dark Hole. Next off, I run 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Now, quick little story to this. My girlfriend got me this one, and my main man, Judge Adam, I got this one from him. And you know what? I want to thank them, both of them, especially my girlfriend. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you guys have a girl that buy you Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you gotta keep her. Like, Jesus. Let's make sure you do your man duties now. Keep doing your man duties. But at the same time, keep a girl that buys Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And then my main man, Adam, bro, I love you, man. Thank you for hooking me up with this. This card is really pricey, but it's really good in this deck. If I have one more copy, I'll play it. But I only got 2. And this card is really amazing because you don't need an extra deck. Helps you to extend your board, get more spell cards in your hand. It's awesome. I love Pot of Extravagance. It's the main. You don't need an extra deck in this deck, which is awesome. Next time I run 1 copy of Reasoning, because Reasoning, you have different levels, and if you can just keep sending all your spell cards to the graveyard, and you can add them back to your hand, which is really good, and you can just bring out some key persons on that one, key girls on that part. Next off, I'm doing 1 copy of Burial from a Different Dimension. Let's say if I want to combo off again, and I have certain girls that I banished, I can bring them back. So if somebody wanted to, DD Crow my Madame Vier, I could bring her back, or whatever. So, yep, I only want 1 copy of this, because it does come up. Then I want 1 copy of Manifold Fusion, because why not? I mean, it's good. You discard it. It's in your graveyard. Put it back. Draw a card. Really good. And that's my deck, guys. It's 40 cards, And I like to keep it at 40 so I can see my stuff. And like I said, guys, you don't need an extra deck. The extra deck is like, you don't really need it. But you could put certain key cards in there to help you out. And I don't really have a full extra deck because most of my cards are in other decks. Because, I ain't trying to buy all those Yu-Gi-Oh cards like that. But, if you was to have an extra deck, you could play double Crawley. Crawley's really good to help you get out bigger spellcasters from your hand. But you don't really need them because your girls does that. Then you could play 1 Daybreak, who I really go to the most. I like Daybreak because Daybreak is really cool. Can help you pop, problematic cards on the field. Like problematic trap cards, like Imperial Order, which I have something for that shit. Topologic Bomber Dragon. It's like I said, the extra deck, you don't really need an extra deck because, you got, your girls can do more damage on their own. Madame Vier plus anyone else is awesome. Transbania, if you wanted to. Underclock Taker, if you wanted to. The Nightmare combos. That's only 8, but, you could put Boral Sword in there. You could put... It doesn't really matter. As long as you have, at least 15 cards in your extra deck. Like, you don't need an extra deck. Just use your girls to do all the damage. So, that was my deck profile, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, Witchcrafter is one of my favorite decks to play. A lot of funsies. Me and Tamias, we had a good matchup that time. Took him to game 3, and he just couldn't handle he couldn't handle Madame Vier. He kept getting rid of her. She just kept coming back. So it was cool. He did end up taking the game though. Red Eyes. I wish we recorded that duel for you guys. But anyways, guys, I want to tell you thank you for checking out my deck profile. Looking at my choices. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to get more Yu-Gi-Oh content. So this has been Kozmo King. Deck profile signing out. Peace.